Greetings, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Truth About Real Estate Investing Show. This intro's a little bit different. I am in Vancouver, British Columbia right now. And have you traveled yet? I'm writing this from, like I said, Vancouver. We're just packing up our hotel, getting ready to board a plane with the kids to go back to, lovely Toronto. This is our first family trip since March 2020. Somehow we miraculously we were in Florida for a wedding, in Florida, lovely wedding. We were in Disney, and we flew home in March 2020 before COVID shut everything down. It was absolutely crazy because back then when we flew into the airport, like when we arrived, like the border staff, maybe 30% of them wore masks. A lot of them wore gloves. There was no plastic barriers or nothing. They didn't even say anything about COVID. There's no pamphlets or nothing. There's no screening. It was crazy. Actually, no, there was some screening. They asked if we were from China or if we came from China or Hong Kong. That was it. Little did they know that most of the COVID cases came from the U.S. or across the U.S. border. Anyways, we have a pile of unused airplane miles since there's no traveling to be done. So if not for points, I don't know if we would have chosen to do this vacation with gas prices the way they are. Anyway, the plan was, and we executed on the plan, was to explore the city. The kids have shorter legs, so we didn't do anything crazy. I don't know. Yeah, I guess in a couple days I did. My Apple Watch told me I walked 10,000 steps, so nothing too crazy. We ate a lot of sushi. We hosted a meetup of real estate investors and stock investors. Shout out to Kenny from Interactive Brokers who came along as well. Shout out to Russell Westcott, who made the hour-long trip. Shout out to Colin, who took an hour-long flight, in to visit us in downtown Vancouver. Shout out to everyone who made it out. That was really cool to meet up with some investors from the West Coast. A lot of them were Alberta investors, a lot of them were BC investors, almost all of them were stock investors, which is cool. So it's super cool to be chatting with them and just, get to know people, meeting some new people. And I brought my kids along. So thanks for everyone who was cool with me having my kids along. With this inflation thing going on, just to provide some context, because I think context is so important. Everyone talks about supply chain issues. So a neighbor of mine, he works for a large multinational consumer products company. And I asked him about the challenges his company faces. And he shared that part of the problem is just the massive swings in demand in terms of what products people are buying. So during the pandemic, so this is what he's telling me, during the pandemic, pregnancy tests were in heavy demand. And now the pendulum has swung the other way. So what's the opposite of a pregnancy test? He tells me condoms are now in high demand as people are traveling, people are socializing again, and anti-nausea drugs, because again, people are they're traveling so they need anti-nausea pills such as like gravel for air, sea sickness, travel sickness, and because the world's opening up again. And so if you've never run a business like this, I'm sure you can imagine this, how it's not easy to be planning for these sorts of things when manufacturing decisions have to be made like 6-9 months in advance. And this is on top of COVID shutting down manufacturing facilities in like China, the war in Ukraine, and fingers crossed that things smooth out soon. On the real estate side, income properties and potential income properties are still moving. If you have a quality property, for example, all legal duplexes are still selling. All of Cherry and I's properties fit in quality income properties by design. For example, I was sharing with my buddies, there was a house that sold for $4 million in Toronto. It was looked like a 3-story semi, gorgeous looking house, sold for $4 million. Sorry, sold for $5 million, 5.1 in September last year, and then just recently sold for just over $4 million. So over 20% loss in value, and that could have very well been that person's down payment, right? If someone put down 25%, well, that's the amount they would have lost on that property. So that's why that's the stuff that we invest in. We'll talk more about that at the iWIN meeting, how largely a lot of this was I predicted how we could potentially see something similar to 2017. So price action that we're seeing right now is not that dissimilar to 2017. Um, when we recover, I don't know. But in a nutshell, for our investment strategy is that we've optimized all our properties for rental income. So we either suited the basement or we did a student rental, and these properties often have garden suite potential. And even if we don't rent these properties out, say my student rentals, for example, they're in very great locations for other demographics, for families, for seniors, because we've chosen properties that have fantastic location, right? I love properties with options. Have their prices declined from the peak of like February of 2020? Absolutely. But we have no plans to sell. Our property is cash flow, and instead we're actually trying to refinance right now. Things are just slow at the bank. Our appraisals were ordered and completed months ago, hopefully not too long ago. So the appraisals are still good. Uh, but for example, we bought two of the properties. We bought them in the dip of 2017, so late 2017. So after the prices were coming down, we probably didn't catch the bottom. I think we caught them on the way down, on the way to the bottom. But you know what? No one can time the market. Those properties cash flow nicely. Uh, I've converted both into duplexes, and they've doubled in value in just the last 5 years. Our plan is possibly to buy the dip again. We'll see how things go mainly with our refinance. And yeah, and for those who are like my professional investor friends, like I'm a developer client, he's bought 3 properties in just this month alone. These are properties that were all listed on MLS, so anyone could have bought them. Um, the plan for those are to be severed. So these are double wide lots. They're going to divide it in half, and they're going to build on the half that has no property on it. So for professional investors out there, this is like Christmas. And while some others are sitting on the sidelines, totally cool. It's just you have to make that choice. Uh, because no one knows what's going to happen. Everyone's asking, will this market keep going down? Likely, as I predict 2 more interest rate increases at least. But as I shared with one novice investor, if your plan is to buy uh, more than one property during this dip, you may want to book something soon before the market starts rocking again and everyone starts rushing back to get back in and booking contractors because contractors are in extreme short supply these days with the hiring difficulties and the great resignation. Also, when the market goes up is largely determined by the Bank of Canada. This question that I ask and many people are asking is how much are they willing to sacrifice the economy versus controlling inflation? No one really has that answer. How bad will job losses be? I don't know. But what I do know is that interest rates will fall again once some of the supply chain and over demand issues work themselves out. Many economists, Kevin Leary even thinks that'll be Q4 this year. So we're talking about October, November, December. And then the bigger challenge for governments and central banks is they need to control their interest expenses on their debts because they're all planning on running deficits, and it's the only way to grow exports is to keep the dollar cheap. Anyways, on to this week's show. We have Emily. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to share her last name, but she goes by Red Glasses Emily. And we have Coach Ditomaso on the show as well. Tammy coaches Emily on my team. Emily is a newer investor. She already has 3 properties under her belt in just under 2 years. Emily's early journey includes more involved renovations, pretty fair-sized renovations, all 6-figure renovations. She inherited a tenant who was in jail. It's never dull. And this show is the truth about real estate investing. So yes, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. We talk about rent arbitrage, which is a strategy that she's pulling off in her newer property. Her first property is a middle-term rental, and more importantly, she's experiencing a lot of financial success. Even with this downturn market, she's doing very well. So that's why we wanted to have her on to share this story. My policy is always learn from people who are successful. Don't learn from people who are consistently losing money. Anyways, FYI, middle-term rentals fall between short-term and long-term rentals. So it's not a few. It's very common. It would be a couple of weeks or 3 days or more. But these are not long-term rentals. So this particular strategy works well in markets where short-term rentals are banned, such as vacation areas, downtown Toronto, certain condo buildings. Emily happens to also have a very nice job at one of the big Canadian banks in HR. So I asked her to share about what skills, what the market's like for jobs, what positions that earn megabucks, including pensions, benefits, work from home benefits. Working from home is huge for real estate investors. Some of my most successful clients have a lot of flexibility in the work schedule. And I'm talking about years ago, right? Because they can get to new listings faster and therefore they're earlier to offer and you can win more deals that way. As mentioned on the show is also Coach Tammy Ditomaso, who coaches Emily. She's been on my team of investor-focused realtors. We are the 4-time Realtors of the Year since 2015. She's also known as the Duplex Queen, since she's helped a couple dozen investors renovate, rent, buy, hold more duplexes west of the GTA than likely anyone, and her knowledge of local zoning is second to none. Please enjoy the show. Hi, Emily. Hi, Tammy.
Hi. Hello.
How's it going?
Great. Let's start with you, Emily.
Sure.
What's keeping you busy these days?
What is keeping me busy? Life. I'm busier than I have been ever in my life right now.
Okay.
But I like it. So, yeah. I think I'm doing the good busy stuff versus the not good busy stuff.
Because you mentioned that you had burnout not that long ago,
Yes.
which is usually a function of being busy.
You know what? That kind of. I think I was busying myself with things that weren't filling the void that I realized that I had.
Uh-huh.
So I was filling it with stuff, and I was keeping myself busy, but it was just, nonsensical, just regular stuff that,
Okay.
wasn't adding to my life. So.
What was the good stuff and what was the bad stuff?
Good stuff. I mean, good stuff is always with the family things. Like I have 2 young kids. I had a great job. We were renovating our house. I love renovating, which is why I'm in real estate now, I think. Yeah, what was I doing? I don't know what I was doing, actually. When I look back, I wasn't even really that busy. Comparatively, I'm busy now. I feel very busy now, but back then, I don't know what I was doing. Just, yeah, I don't know. Not a good answer. Yeah, I feel more fulfilled now than I was. And what I realize now looking back, and I was just spinning my wheels on things. I had anxiety. I still have anxiety, but it's more managed now. And just not spending the time doing things that really propelled me or grew me or developed me. And but now I'm spending a lot more time doing those things, and I'm getting a lot more out of it, and I'm feeling a lot more fulfilled because of it.
I don't know you before, but knowing you now, you're so focused. So even if you're busy, but you've got focus, where before you knew you want to go, but like you said, spin your wheels and not got that goal in mind. So you're just knowing this is where I want, where do I go, what do I do, trying. And then once you locked it in, it's like busy, but then more focused and fulfilled.
Yeah, and that's what it is. I'm more mindful about what I'm spending my time with these days. Whereas before it was just, I didn't like sitting down. I didn't like having nothing to do on a weekend, or I didn't like having nothing to do on a weeknight. And I would just, go shopping, or I would start to paint things that didn't need painting, or research things on Pinterest. Hey, maybe we should rip our basement out just for fun, like stuff like that. Like that was just, and it was just me, and it was just, I think, me just trying to run away from things or try to find things to do that kept my mind off why I was miserable, to be honest.
Right.
So yeah, if that makes sense.
A commonality I'm finding among real estate investors is, when people go to Mexico and do the resort vacation, and I find almost every real estate investor says, I can't sit there for that long.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
And that describes
It's definitely
you as
me.
well?
Yeah. I'm a go person, but I'm finding I'm hopefully better with how I'm doing those go things and what I'm doing with those things than I was before.
Right.
So
you actually found something that
yeah.
was productive that you
Yes.
enjoyed.
Yes.
Or you just enjoy being productive.
Yeah, I definitely like being productive, for sure. But I found more of a purpose. I think that's kind of what I was really struggling with for a long time, you know, and, you know, I did all the things that someone was supposed to do, right? I went to school. I did some traveling. I lived in South Korea for a year. I, you know, got a job. I, got a husband, you know, had planned a wedding for, you know, a year and a half, you know, had 2 kids. Like I was doing all the things that you're quote unquote supposed to do with your life, right? And but once those things were all done, you know, then I just was like so bored with my life. Like I just, you know, I wasn't happy, even though I had all the things, right? I had all the things that someone could possibly want, right? But I was just miserable. Like there was something inside me that I wanted more out of my life. What am I doing with my life? What am I doing with my time? And that's why that's why I think I was just kind of filling my time with all these random things that made, you know, no difference in my life. It was just kind of keeping me busy and keeping my mind busy. But like at the end of the day, if I would ever sit still, I'd be like, none of this is working. This is not working for me anymore. Like what am I doing? And, you know, and work was really stressful at the time. Like I, was not enjoying work at all and very stressed and I think during the pandemic as well, like we just weren't seeing people as much. My health, like I was gaining a lot of weight, like I wasn't eating properly, I wasn't taking care of myself, like things were just going downhill, you know, and I was very unhappy.
That's interesting because I only know you from recently and I would never have known that you were unhealthy.
Yeah, and I'm still struggling with that. Like it's, so yeah, and you know, it got to the point where I just, there's a picture of myself that I took. We went to a park, I think it was like middle of February in 2021, and we were taking selfies, and I knew at that moment that I had to change or else things were going to get way worse for me. If I didn't change things, something bad was going to happen. And so that was really the week that I talked to my doctor and we're like, I need a break. I need to just kind of reset. I need to figure out what the heck I'm supposed to do with myself. So she put me on leave, and then I went on leave for about 10 weeks from work. And it was such an amazing time for me. It was just I had to just stop everything, like stop the madness, stop all these busy things that I was filling my void with, you know, just reset. And then I sought out a coach, and she was amazing, and she kind of just helped me sort of just put everything on the table, like what's wrong, what's going on, what do you want to do, what makes you happy, what makes you tick, what do you like about yourself, how do we find more about that person, you know, and so that was really helpful to kind of dig into that. And
was it the first time you did that exercise?
Yes, it was the first time. It was the first time I did any kind of mindset work. First time that I really slowed myself down enough to actually start to listen to myself. And I think that was what I was missing for a long time. I was not listening to myself and not really even know what I was trying to listen for either, right? Like I didn't have any idea what I was listening for. And
Just pause you there, Emily.
Yeah.
Because listening to you sound young. Can you share how old you were when you did this mindset work?
38.
Okay, thank you. So it's like 38 years old.
It took 38 years.
Figure out what you like to do.
Yes.
To ask yourself what you like to do.
That's right. Exactly. And yeah, man, I wish I had started that way before, right? But I just couldn't. I guess that question wasn't there, you know, and or maybe I didn't give myself the space or the opportunity to ask myself until that point. Yeah.
I think we're all guilty of it. Doing what we think we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
I did a lot of what I think my parents would make them happy.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But no, I've been partly selfish too, and doing a lot of things I enjoy.
Yeah.
So can you share what you do for a living? How long you've had the previous job?
Yeah. So I worked at so I've been at HR for about 16 years. At a major FI in Toronto.
Bank that everybody knows.
Bank. That everybody knows. Yep. and that was really my first job at a university. I have a geography degree, and somehow I'm in HR at a bank. So that right there, almost tells you, I don't really know why I work at a bank, if I have a geography degree. But that's what happens, right? You just kind of you get a job and hope for the best, and then it sort of, I don't know, just moves on from there.
When did the job thing get bad? Is it always bad, or is it more like the last few years?
It's funny because my husband, he's a very stable guy, right? He's very content with his job. So he and I met at work, right? So we met there, and we've had similar jobs. He and I function very differently in those jobs. He's able to do a 9 to 5 and shut it off at 5, no problem. I'm not able to do that.
That sounds nice.
Yeah, right?
I know. Shut down at 5.
But he's able to do that. He's able to just compartmentalize and just segregate his work and his personal life. I am just mentally not. I cannot do that. Like I will think about work forever. I will bring it home with me. I will stress about it at night. I will lose sleep over it. That's just how I function, right? So. And I think that's just how I am in these roles. So these roles, some of the roles I've had have been very, very difficult. They've been very stressful. I've managed a lot of money during my jobs, and I take on a lot personally, even though I should just really shut it off. It's just a job. This is not your life. But for some reason, it started to define me, and it defined how I thought about myself. So if I had made a mistake, that means that I'm a mistake, just myself. Or it just became me, right? And there was no separation between work and who I was as a person. So those lines got really blurred pretty early on, and I think that's where things started to kind of get really hard for me. So. I don't want to blame the job, but I think it's just me, how I reacted and how I functioned in those roles.
Right.
And I was a high achiever. I've won awards at work, and I've got lots, great bonuses. But it's just what I've maybe allowed work to do to me.
Are you better at your job than your husband?
At one point I thought I was, and maybe, but he's actually more senior than I am. He gets paid a lot more than I do, and he's very stable with it. So I think he's calm, cool, and collected, whereas I can just fly off the handle and freak out and get really stressed out. And so I don't know what's better, but from a mental health perspective, he's much healthier than I am from that standpoint. So yeah.
So the part of the show is not just talk about real estate, which we will get to, our poor listener.
Sorry, guys.
Part of the show is also understanding easier, faster, better paths to making money.
Yeah.
So you have HR experience.
Yeah.
So I'm picking on you, specifically compensation.
Yeah.
So I'm picking on you because I find this fascinating. Before we were recording, I actually wish we recorded a bunch of it because I'm probably gonna miss some of the questions. But you mentioned something that caught my attention, was that multiple offers on people, on people you're trying to hire, is a problem in your industry.
Yes.
Did it get better or worse in the last few years?
I've seen it get worse for sure. There are some critical roles and skills that are in hot demand, and those seem to be getting more apparent. So technology is such a huge skill set. Specific skills within technology, operations, diverse employees.
So if you're diverse, you get a pay bump.
Well, you're on the list of what companies are looking for. So yeah, I mean, a candidate who has the skill set that a company is looking for, you will likely be in a multiple offer position.
This is wild.
Similar to houses, and you can literally choose your employer. Whoever has the best offer, whoever's the best culture, whatever you're looking for in an employer is, and you're in a position to, and play them off one another. Hey, this company's offering me, a $50,000 signing bonus. What are you offering me?
It's just fine. I find this all fascinating because we've, like Tammy knows, we talk about all the time investing in yourself.
Yeah.
I never really thought as an individual as an investment. I always thought of people as like a business because, people are the CEO of themselves, and, are you a good CEO? Because if you're a good CEO, you're like going to make more money and stuff like that. But I never really thought of it in the job. Yeah, job.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's wild. Because again, like, I don't care what it is. If you can make money efficiently, morally, ethically, repeatable, then I think I'm all for it. And with many things that have fallen off, like I've seen lots of issues with the private lending market, the collapse of Epic Alliance, for example. In this market, I don't think anyone really wants to be private lending in it. Yeah. Generally, I'm sure there's lots of good private lending deals that are out there, but generally, this is probably not the market to be getting into. And I see all these people getting out of e-commerce, which is selling on Amazon, as an example.
Yep.
We see stock Shopify's getting killed,
and
that's a reflection of something. Amazon's getting killed as well as a stock price. So then what are people's avenues to make money, right? Real estate, stocks, whatever, right? And I find myself saying job more often than not. More often than ever before.
Yeah.
Because isn't it, to me, it seems like, I'm not nearly as close to this as you are, but in what I feel, in my opinion, is that this is the best time ever to be looking for a job.
Yeah.
Is this the best time ever?
I think it is. Yeah. There's a war on talent. We say it all the time in the biz, if you want to call it that, but we talk about it all the time. People are flagged as flight risk. Yes, and it's on your profile, and then we have to put retention strategies around you, and that could be a million different things.
All right, okay. How does someone passively make themselves get flagged as a flight risk? I'm trying to help the listener here, because potentially be offered more niceties.
You're probably going to be going to your people manager and be like, hey, let's talk about my salary. Hey, let's talk about some benefits that I hear my friends have down the street. Hey, let's talk about work-life balance. Let's, I want to be, you in a couple years. How can that, how can we get there? Oh, well, this company seems to be offering me this. Hey, this company just called me the other day and they're offering me this. What are you guys going to offer me to stay?
So in the old days, like I worked in corporate a long time ago. Some of those things would be seen as, because it was a different market then. Because if you looked like you were a flight risk to like jump to someone else, then you might become a target of getting axed when layoffs came. Not now.
I mean,
sorry, was my observation correct back then, or didn't really matter?
I don't know. I mean,
showing ambition is completely different. I think that's the best thing you can do.
Yeah. I think it depends how.
As in, like, moving up, like, I want to be a manager, I want to be a director.
Which is great. They love to see that.
Okay,
if you have capabilities for that. If they also see you with that potential, then you're on a great track. They'll want to keep you. They love you. Especially if you want to stay with the company and they can see you as someone in a leadership position in a couple of years. They're going to do everything they can to keep you.
And just to clarify, leadership is a valuable job skill that is compensated.
Yes, right. It is. Yes, it is.
Just make sure
leadership capabilities.
Right. Yes. Just make sure everyone understands that.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, that is a skill, a capability. You can have it. You're sometimes just born with it. Sometimes you can grow and you can learn it. If necessary. But some people just have it. And that's a hard skill to find, especially in the higher kind of echelons of a company. And you can use it, right?
Right.
So,
Any books you recommend? I like the Simon Sinek's Leaders Eat Last. I think that was what it's called.
No books, really. I don't know. Persuasion. I thought that was kind of neat.
Oh, Robert Cialdini.
Yeah.
Love that book.
Yeah. There's that. Yeah. There's some really neat things out there. Yeah.
Good to Great. I thought Good to Great was great.
Yep. Yeah, I'm reading Who Not How. I know people talk about it all the time, but it's one of the books that we're chatting about now. Atomic Habits. We're also talking about it at work, actually, too. Both of those we're talking about it at work. I know those are really popular. People always talk about those ones, but we've had a couple speakers at my new company to talk about both of those. Kind of neat. So yeah.
Cool. And then can we talk about pensions?
I know very little about pensions, but I have one.
I know, which is crazy. And so, just to clarify, you have a pension, and you don't work for government.
Correct.
Right? Which is not common.
Oh, yeah. Because I mean, I've been in the corporate world, really just 2 companies at this point. But yeah, pension's such a huge, huge thing. And that's always something that new recruits will always ask about. So in the FI world, being a pension or having a pension is something that we're very aware of. Mm-hmm. We know what the forecast is when we retire. Mm-hmm. We know the consequences if we retire early. So we're always kind of up to speed with what our pension looks like. So it's a very common thing for everyone to know and understand. Yeah.
So you're pretty financially secure.
Yeah.
Yet you still want to be a landlord.
Yeah. Why? What's wrong with me?
Property manager will take care of all that.
Yeah, I do have a property manager. Yeah, I do try to outsource literally everything I can. Yeah.
Oh, who not how?
So,
good idea.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So,
are you using Dave? Yeah. We won't share his full name. Are you?
No, I use my contractor's company.
Oh, okay.
Actually.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's worked out pretty well. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I think he only does his clients' properties for property management.
Correct. Yes.
And I understand you bought a lot of property recently. You bought a lot. A couple $1 million worth.
Only 3. Yeah. I want it to be more.
What's the combined value?
After repair value?
Sure.
Gosh.
It's over $3 million.
625. Yeah. We're probably close to $3 million. Yeah.
It's been not even a year.
7 months. Yeah.
7 months, $3 million of property.
Mm-hmm.
They're all done in terms of they're all after repair now?
One is done.
Okay.
One is done. One is almost done. 2 are almost done.
Mm-hmm.
We just made some hiccups. But yeah, we're almost done.
And what's the strategy?
A couple different strategies. So the strategies have kind of changed also just as time has passed. I've gotten more ideas and talked to people. So the first one was, I guess, a duplex conversion on the Hamilton Mountain. So that was the first one. That was in September 2021. And yeah, that one was fun. So we finished that one. Contractor that we have, he wanted to do something a bit special, just to kind of showcase his skills and use it more of like a showcase for his company to kind of show other investors in the neighborhood and what they can do and stuff like that. So he threw in a bunch of free things. So that worked out in my favor, obviously. And so the upper unit.
How come we don't have friends like those, Tammy?
He did it for us.
Yes.
He wanted to be part of our team.
Oh, okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He did. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So
he wanted to show it off for you guys and impress you guys. So
This is Lee?
yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So great.
Oh, just apologies there. We intentionally don't share full names because we're not sharing.
Yeah, not sharing.
We keep the best for our clients. So
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Although my Instagram is pretty transparent, but anyways, yeah. So he went all out in the upper unit, just all out. We did vaulted ceilings. We did feature walls.
Wait, it wasn't a vaulted ceiling before?
Nope. Oh yeah, it was.
I saw the vaulted ceiling.
Oh, yeah.
Usually they're already there when we find them.
Nope. Yeah, that was part of this renovation.
Okay.
So all out, obviously. Wainscoting, trim work, all sorts of cool stuff. So, so that was the upper unit. Lower unit, basic two bedroom, 1 bath.
Right.
Legal, of course, a legal unit. Really nice. It's good looking. It's actually really spacious. Quite giant bedrooms. We separated almost everything we could. So I have 2 hot water heaters. I have 2 water meters. Split the hydro, obviously. So we did.
And then the plans upstairs changed.
So obviously the going in strategy was to just do 2 long-term tenants in each unit. But there was just but it was just in my gut. I was like, why? This upper unit deserves more. Not that long-term is bad, but like it just, I was not going to get the returns from it with just a long-term. And so, I talked to a few people about this whole idea of mid-term rentals. And I was like, yeah, that's a cool idea. Like this could work, but I'd have to furnish it, so I'm like, oh man, do I have time for that?
This really took on your whole I want to be busy personality.
Yes, it did. And of course my family was like, you're crazy, what are you doing? But I loved it and got connected with a great designer, and she met me on a Saturday. We had the thing furnished and designed within 4 weeks. And it was awesome. So she did really the whole thing. I did all the kitchen stuff and the bathroom stuff, but she did living room, all the bedrooms, and just the look and feel of the place. So then I put it on Airbnb myself. Really had no idea what I was doing, to be honest. But I muddled through it, and within 24 hours I had 2 bookings until mid-July. Like, it was craziness. I really.
Oh, sorry. Let's get some timelines. When did you put it on? What was the date when you put it on Airbnb?
When did I put it? Probably mid-March. I think mid-March. I put it on Airbnb.
Mm-hmm.
And then.
So right end of April.
Yeah, and then my first guest wanted to come in April 23rd. Mm-hmm. It was still not totally finished. Like, I put it on Airbnb before it was finished. Like, I knew that I still had some work to do, but I wanted to just see what the demand was like and any questions and stuff. So, like, I knew that, and I had blocked the calendar for Airbnb, because you can do that. You can block dates and stuff. So I had blocked it until, like, early April. She messaged me. She's like, can I come in for a month and a half? And I was like, sure. Yeah, let's do it. So she just moved in on the weekend on April 23rd.
Fantastic.
So, and she's going to be there until June 18th, I think. Is that a month and a half? Yeah.
How did you advertise it on Airbnb when it wasn't done?
I had some pictures. Like, I had some of the rooms finished. So my designer had finished the living room, and I'd finished the kitchen, and the bathroom was pretty much finished. So we just didn't have the bedrooms finished. So I just showed her, like, the unfurnished bedrooms, and just the sizes of it all. I'd also put it up for a fairly good price too. So when she had messaged me, she's like, I usually don't message anyone with no reviews, and your price just seems too good to be true. And I was like, in my head, I was like, really?
Shit.
I'm like, I'm making a lot of money doing this, and you think it's too big.
Oh, you thought it was low.
No,
Sorry,
she
they thought it was low.
Yes.
You thought it was high.
I thought it was high, yeah.
But when you said good price, I thought high. And then when you said she thought it was good, like, I'm confused.
I know. So got me thinking, I'm like, maybe I don't know what I'm doing here. So, but, she obviously wanted to pounce on it, because obviously it was a crazy deal, which I now know more now. So she was a bit sketched out. She's like, I've been burned in the past. Can we maybe do a virtual tour just to make sure you're not lying, and these aren't fake pictures. and so I showed her some more pictures and things, and she's like, oh yeah, let's just do it. Let's get booked. I'm like, cool. So she booked it for a month and a half.
Through Airbnb.
Through Airbnb.
Right.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm gonna ask some detailed questions.
Oh yeah.
Can you share what you're charging?
Yeah. It's changed since then, so I have to remember what so for her stay for a month and a half, I got $5,200.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
I agree, good. You're good, not her good.
But apparently to her, that was like good. So, yeah.
Okay. What's market then?
Well, this is what I'm learning now, and I've now I've actually now passed over my Airbnb management to an Airbnb property management, because
you found one.
I did. Yes.
Do you want to share, or should we keep it secret?
I could share. They're on Instagram, Crompton Elite Properties. I think that's what they call themselves. We can put it in the show notes later, but. So I chatted with them, because it was a good experience to kind of go through the whole Airbnb setup. Like, I learned a lot doing that. It was good for me I had a lot of inquiries too. So she's the one who booked first, but I had a bunch of people just messaging me, hey, can we book for a month? Can we book for 3 days? Can we book for, that kind of thing? And I was like, I didn't really want to do the short stay. I just wasn't prepared for that. I didn't have my system set up yet. I didn't have a cleaner. I didn't have a handyman. I didn't have any of that. But in my head, I was like, if I had a longer term guest for like a month and a half, like a midterm idea, I can kind of work on that as, I get prepared for that a bit more and a little faster. And so that's kind of what I had in my head. So I was like, I'm going to just figure this out as I kind of go through this. So that's why I spent more attention with her and kind of answer her questions. And I kind of, I talked to the other guests coming in with inquiries, but, they didn't work out for whatever reason, but she worked out and she liked it. But, anyway, so back to the, I guess the property manager question, I think. It was a good experience, but it's just so much work. It's just an incredible amount of work.
Yeah, you're running a hotel.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And
I don't think people appreciate how many inquiries you get.
So many. Yeah.
And they're all random.
Random questions.
Can I rent it by the room?
Yeah. Like
I just need the room.
I have 4 dogs and I have 4 cars, and I'm like, oh, well, that's not going to work out. So thanks for coming, but this is what I'm offering. I don't think it's maybe going to work out.
Yeah. Because people don't read the ad.
No, they don't. I spent hours with this ad.
Is this for sale?
Yeah.
Is the house for sale?
No. Please read the listing. I spent a lot of time doing this.
Are you in Kitchener?
Yeah. Where are you?
It's a far out question.
I know, just random stuff. So it was just taking up a lot of my time, and that's, it was a good experience, and I learned a lot doing it. But I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to manage these people. I don't have restaurant suggestions. Like, I'm like, oh, there's a pizza down the street. That's not what they're looking for, right? And so I just wasn't.
Yeah, if you're like the concierge,
yeah, I was everything.
Customer service,
exactly.
Housekeeping.
Yeah, like, hey, when's the jazz festival? I have no idea. Is there a jazz festival? There's.
Oh, let
stuff
me know.
Like
I'm gonna raise the price.
Yeah, let me know. Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, I'm just not meant for this. Like, I'm just not. I'm good with the design. I love designing it. I love setting it up. I love all that kind of stuff. But I'm like, I just don't. That the rest of it, I just not good at. So then I outsourced that, and I talked to them about it. We did. I took them on a tour of the property, and showed them my listing. They're just like, "Whoa, you were undercharging, girl." So it was just from my experience with my first guest.
That's great. Even though you have to pay them.
Yes.
They raised your price.
Yes. Exactly. They're going to market it better. They're going to do better photos. They're going to do pricing strategies that I never even thought were a thing. So
do you just pay them for when they book?
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So we do an 80-20 split. I think that's negotiated. So, that might not be the case for everybody, but that's what we had agreed upon.
And that's off the top. Is that after Airbnb's? What Airbnb gets?
Yeah, it would be after. I don't know, actually, to be honest, but that's. I think the revenue, we've decided that it's an 80-20 split for the revenue. So if that helps.
No, I love the Airbnb model.
We haven't done it yet, though. But yeah. Mm-hmm.
I love the Airbnb model because you have their credit card.
Yeah.
So even if they want to stay, like, you're still collecting a good rate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this is just my first venture into it. I have my guest staying right now, so she's there until June, and then I have another guest coming right after her for about 10 days, and that one snuck in because I was I was messing around with the settings, on Airbnb, and somehow it went live. Right. And then of course this guy comes in, and you can't cancel an Airbnb, right? That's like a thing you cannot do, right? Because you can lose your superhost status. You can get penalties. It's just an awful consequence. So this guy snuck in, and he's there over the July 1st weekend.
Oh,
and I'm like, damn it!
And they got a good rate.
They got a good rate. They got a crazy rate. So anyway, and then that was really what sold me on I'm not good at this. This is not my thing. So I've blocked the rest of the summer into I think I've blocked it until October, actually. And so between my 2 guests, there's a week gap, and that's when my property manager is going to come in, do their reset, figure out what else I need, and then they're going to start turning on my Airbnb bookings with their management in place. So yeah.
So the property manager's split, does that include like housekeeping, for example, or is that on top?
That would be on top. Well, sometimes you can charge the guest housekeeping. So that's one thing that I have learned. You can charge extra things. You can charge for extra guests. You can charge for pets. You can charge a cleaning fee. So that's all.
Do you charge for pets?
Of course.
We can as long-term people.
You do pretty much whatever you want, actually. Obviously they have to agree to it, but that's that's what you're offering as the price, and they say, and that's, they book it or they don't book it. That's how it works.
I had a tenant operating a puppy mill in my back, in my
Oh, no.
back addition. Drove my other tenant nuts.
Of course.
My poor tenants.
Jeez.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but anything, repairs, anything, obviously,
those are all
products,
on top.
maintenance, that's all on top. That'd be
Right.
me, obviously paying for all of that. Yeah. They would just bill me for all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
And is the basement rented?
Basement is rented, yes, to a long-term tenant, a couple actually, $1,850 plus utilities.
That's a good number.
Yep.
Is it bigger? How come you got so much?
It's a good size. It's a really good size.
Tammy?
Yeah, usually we're seeing about 1,800. So
Yeah,
it's
1850
West
is
Mountain.
better.
West Mountain, a little bit more maybe. Yeah.
I'm
Well,
a
we were
West
starting
Mountain.
to see between 18 to 19. So she just beat the numbers there. But that's going to be pretty normal what you're going to see now.
Mm-hmm.
You were just getting it first.
Yeah. I had higher expectations. So, of course, I was like 1950. And Tammy's like, yeah, okay, good luck.
Did you try starting at 1950?
We tried 1995,
Oh, jeez.
actually.
And?
Didn't listen to
And
me.
it was crickets.
Oh,
So
yeah.
which is fine. I mean, so my my property manager for that one, who's through the contractor, she's like, okay, we'll try it, obviously.
Sure.
See if anyone bites. We'll
bet.
see what happens. But she's like, Emily, no one's messaged me. It's been a couple of weeks. So I'm like, all right.
Zero. Wow.
Yeah.
Zero inquiries.
Yeah.
Not even weirdo ones.
Nope.
I've got 4 dogs and 4 cars.
Yeah.
Oh, to be honest, there might have been, but she just didn't message me
Okay,
about
okay.
this. She probably just
Okay.
filtered them out immediately.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you take 1,000. Like those kind of
Yeah.
inquiries.
Well, we had
That's
some.
when you need Tim
Yeah, right. Yeah, like
on our team.
We did have some low ball offers. Actually, we had a couple of guys wanted 1,800, and I was like, no, I'm gonna say no to that.
Guys.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
They're like, they're best friends, moving into their parents' house for the first time. I was like, oh, this is gonna be cute. This will be so fun. And then
Famous last
they
words.
tried to lowball me, so I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Sorry. So 1,850. We got a couple of really great tenants. So yeah.
And tell us about the tenants that you're attracting for middle term. What is their motivation?
Yeah, and that was interesting because that was one of the first questions I had with if I do this short term, midterm idea, who exactly is my profile here? What's my avatar? I guess that's a new name for it. And so when I chatted with people who have done midterm and are doing midterm, there was a woman that I talked to. She does midterms in Burlington, and then she's helped a couple people also do midterms in other, I think Niagara area. And she said, typically the demographic you're looking for are traveling professionals, people that are between houses for whatever reason. The closing dates. Mm-hmm. Yeah, closing dates aren't.
Yeah, closing dates.
Exactly.
They've sold their home.
Exactly. Yeah.
Divorce,
Divorce,
needing
yeah.
a place till they.
Yep. Very
So-
true. Very true. Yep.
I'm pretty sure everyone knows that like a lot of construction things are being delayed.
Yeah,
Like new
exactly.
condos, for example, they've
Exactly.
already sold their home. So
Construction stays. They don't want to live in the dust. Insurance stays. Their
Yeah.
their house burned down. There's a flood. There's many different reasons. That my guest that came in, she
excuse me.
bless you. Oh, another one.
Excuse me. Allergies. / COVID.
No.
Cool. Yeah. So my guest, her son is going to McMaster, I guess, for some kind of summer course or something. So she's from Sault Ste. Marie, I think she told me. So she's coming down to help
Right.
him with that. I don't know. There's some kind of story there.
So
So
he's with her.
he, I think, is with her. Yeah.
Just
There's
the 2 of them.
there's a family of 4.
Oh, okay.
From what I
It's
understand.
3-bedroom.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. It's 3 bedrooms. There's 6 beds. So yeah.
Yeah. So there's a segment of the market that's not addressed well.
Correct. Yeah. And they need, and like the fact that I had it up on Airbnb for 24 hours and I had her instantly come in. I had 5 different inquiries of just random questions like, hey, we're traveling Canada and we need to stay somewhere and Hamilton is on our list. Can we stay there for a month? Like there's just random things, right, that people need. They don't want to stay in a hotel. This is a cool option for
Well,
them.
just doing the math, like 5,200
Yeah, that's weird.
divided by 45 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about 115, and that
Yeah.
115 is not usually like 2-3 star hotel at best.
Yeah. Right.
Right. Versus you get
Right.
a whole.
And that's me way undercharging. So apparently I should have been closer to 200.
It's because we're doing the
Oh.
math.
Or 175 a day minimum, apparently. So
Because we're comparing it to if
Yeah.
you were to rent it to a family
yeah,
for a month, and they
Yes.
would be paying $2,000
Yes.
2,100 to rent that floor.
Exactly. And that's what I was using. Like that was my basis for this. And maybe that's just that was a wrong way of kind of looking at it. Like I was like, you know, if I was getting a long-term tenant in my upper unit, I'd be like, you know, I think max I'd probably get 22, 23 max, you know, plus utilities. And I was like, if I can get more than that, hey, cool. Like that was my mentality going through it, right? And that's maybe why I was just undercharging. I was like, if I can make a couple $100, you know, cash flow in a month, cool. Like I'm in the money. But that was just like the wrong way of thinking about it. And I could just made way more money on this. So
yeah, because I think I'm paying $185 for 2-bedroom, 2-bath in Ottawa. Quick plug, I'm going to be in Ottawa June 7th for a meetup for anyone who's in Ottawa. Anyways, but so 185 versus you're charging 115 and your place looks a lot nicer.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
1 bathroom?
Yeah, 1 bath.
Right. But it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And so, I did the whole AirDNA thing. I looked at my competitors, you know, and I just even on Airbnb and VRBO, like I looked as a guest. Hey, like, you know, if I punch in my dates and I want to stay for 45 days or whatever, what are my options? And then I looked at mine, looked at all the my competitors, and
let introduce you to Betty. I think she has 3 of the top 10 VRBOs in Hamilton.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
One of her properties usually competes for 1 or 2.
So he's my competitor then.
I think there's plenty of business to go around.
So yeah, it's anyways, so yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
She's not in your area though either. Hamilton's a big city, right? Can you share some numbers? Well, what the house cost you?
Yeah, $721 on the buy.
Oh my god.
Okay, can I just add that was not an oh my god though at the moment, right?
No.
We paid market.
That's cheap.
It is.
Oh, market was cheap. Okay.
Looking back, yeah.
Yeah.
At the time, I was like, oh man, that's a lot of money, you know. But that's just what it was. Like
We just paid $875 in Brantford.
Yeah.
This is cheap. Okay. You got cheap on the market. Fine. Okay. All these people say to buy everything off the market.
Yeah,
We had 10 it was 10 offers. Yeah, I won.
What made yours win the winning offer?
I don't know.
price.
Oh, I wrote a letter. Well, I wrote a letter.
Yeah.
I might have lied on the letter, but yeah. Letter.
I had nothing to do with that.
That was all my idea.
But yeah, she wrote a letter. It was
Well, the individual can do whatever they want. Us as licensed professionals can't do whatever
Yes.
we want.
No, it was
Yeah.
that was all me.
sometimes things change. Things change. But yeah, no letter. Was this the house that had the pencil sharpener
Yes.
in it too? We often talk about that.
Yes.
Andy Tran talks about that
Yes,
when
he
you
does.
see a house that has one of those pencil sharpeners that are on the wall. Yeah. So as soon as we saw that, we're like, pencil sharpener.
Yeah, and that
Silly,
means that
but-
it's in good condition because the owner took care of it, and that was very evident. The place was in such great shape, and it was.
It's actually pretty it's accurate and straight.
It is. It's
like, but
accurate. Yeah, it's amazing. Like a workshop.
It must
with-
have been a working person that just really cared, and they
got it.
took the time to have the pencil sharpener
Exactly.
where it needed. Yeah,
Exactly.
Sorry, because when I think pencil sharpener, I think of elementary school.
it's like that. Though.
But it's like one of
that.
those, one of those brown
Yeah.
ones
Yeah.
from like
Oh,
the
no.
80s or whatever. Yeah, and
But the
it's,
profile who has that is someone who's usually good with their hands.
Yes, exactly, exactly.
Right? Like they
They're a handyman,
They-
they're a woodworker, whatever.
Yeah.
Their skill is, and that was evident. I mean, the house was in such amazing shape. So, yeah.
how what about cosmetically? Because it sounds
I
like you
mean-
got a deal.
Old, just
Yeah,
old.
yeah.
Everything old.
Full-
Everything
So
old.
great bones, just cosmetic.
Correct.
Cosmetics needed.
Yeah, just old, outdated.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so what would the retail value of the renovation be to bring this up to date and to suite the basement?
Without the deal, I mean.
Sure. Yes, without the deal. What would retail? Because I need to set real expectations. Because what drives me bonkers, for example, of like there's certain TV shows, they
Yeah.
give you heavily discounted prices.
Yeah,
They give
right.
you their price.
Yeah.
That's not reality. You
No.
can't do that yourself.
No.
You can't scale it.
Yeah, because I had to do the full conversion, right? So I had to do and the upper. Like I wasn't so I really wasn't going to do too much in the upper unit. I clearly was not going to do a vaulted ceiling or a
Feature wall.
or a feature wall or any kind of woodwork or anything like that. Like I was trying to keep the floors. I was trying to keep all the trim. Like I was trying to keep as much as I possibly
when people
could.
come in, they're like, "Well, you got to change the trim." Like, well, you don't have to do this. Or like, I'm always
Yeah.
on it because I don't need a contractor coming in and saying you have to change.
Yeah.
When there's certain things I know aren't going to change your rent. So I get a
Exactly.
little defensive, but
Right. Oh, it's like when an architect comes and looks at our property. He's like, you should do this.
Yeah, of course.
And like, put it in a bay window. Like, that won't get me any more rent.
No, exactly.
Sounds nice.
Of course, like that's
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Those.
And that was my mindset going in. It was just going to be a long-term up and long-term down. Like nothing special. It was just going to be a cool duplex conversion project, in and out, whatever, kind of simple thing. But it morphed into something different, obviously, because of various decisions, whatever. So,
and just to clarify, your feature wall is very different than my feature walls. Because my feature wall will just be a different pink color. Yours actually has woodworking to it.
Yes, there's custom woodwork.
Yes, custom woodworking. Yeah. Very different feature walls.
Very different.
They're both feature walls.
Yeah, very different. But I think so as as the renovation, what actually happened, we probably should have been closer to 230, probably, but I only paid. Actually, no more than that. It would probably be
still
closer
under
to
$1 million
250
for legal duplex.
Yeah, it'd be closer to 250, I think, probably, if I actually paid.
Even with 250.
Yeah, but I didn't pay that. I paid. Am I allowed to say this? But yeah, I think all in with all the taxes, with all. I did throw in a bunch of not free stuff, but a bunch of extra things that I wanted to do. I think I paid close to two, I think. Yeah, 2. So I'd probably save about $50,000 with all the deals that I got. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Even if you paid full retail, you're still under $1 million. And everything's, even appraisers for refis are appraising duplexes for $1 million. Mm-hmm. Right. Can you share your appraisal?
Yeah, that's a story. So yeah, so I was working with directly with a bank. I wasn't working with a broker at this point, so I was working directly with
your employer or
my employer. Yeah, at the time, and just a mortgage broker that I had been familiar with because he had helped us with our primary residence. So I just went back to him, and because we were getting deals because we were getting employee discounts.
Oh, can you share what the employee discount is?
I don't know what the discount is, but like we, what was our rate on that one? I think we got 1.31 was our interest rate when we bought it. Variable, 30 years, 5-year term. Yeah, I think it was 1.31.
Did anyone get anything less than 1.6 ever? I don't think so. Okay. Do you know what your rate is now?
Yeah, it's gone up a couple times, hasn't it?
End of the world.
Yeah.
It's the end of the world. You should sell me this house.
No. That's what you're hoping.
I'm trying to save you, Emily.
Right. What are we now? Yeah, it's gone up about 0.75, right, since then.
2.
So we're close to, we're just under 2. I think we're at 1.9 something, I think. The last time I looked, yeah. Something like that.
All right. Further plugs for working for the bank. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Approval process, I imagine, is easier too. They know your employer and they have all your files. Is that all?
Yeah, no, it definitely helped because like all of our investments are there. That helps because they have access to everything, right? I mean, they just pull up my name and there it all is, right? So it's a lot easier.
Really, that easily?
Yeah.
There's no privacy?
Well,
I'm sure you signed something. Like you can look at my stuff.
Did I sign anything? I don't know if I did sign anything. I mean, I did send them some other things with my like we have an employee share ownership program. I'd send them that kind of stuff because they don't have access to that stuff. But like any of my accounts or my investment accounts, all my loan products, credit cards, they had access to all of that stuff. So that was you just pull up my name.
That's cool.
There it all is. Yeah. So that part was quite easy actually. Yeah.
Everything was easy, even though it was like we're talking about refi, we're talking about duplex, we're talking about.
No, it was not that easy. So from that standpoint, it was easy, just like the information. But what I really struggled with them is that they weren't investor focused. Yes, exactly. So they weren't investor focused. Yeah. So like, and they were like,
you're speaking Greek to them.
Yeah, totally. And I, man, and I was upskilling my mortgage broker like as the process went on, right? And he had some exposure with investing. He's like, 4 friends, it was, my group of 5 friends and we invested in a property and I think it was actually Hamilton.
Okay.
It was like, we had the worst tenants. We had to sell that place. It was an awful experience. So like, are you sure you want to do this? Like, this is what you want to do? And I was like, yes, this is what I want to do. This is my thing now. And he was like, that's a lot of debt you're taking on. I'm like,
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And this is
a mortgage broker who's
he's a financial advisor who can do mortgage stuff. So that's what but I consider him a mortgage broker, but he was more of a financial advisor.
Financial advisor doesn't like debt that funds investment.
Yes.
In hard assets.
He didn't see that as good debt. He saw it as just bad debt.
At least he believes in whatever he's selling. But good.
I mean, he was looking out for me. He's like, "Are you sure you want to do this?"
Right.
I'm like, yeah. And he's like, "Hey, so what are you doing with the property?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm converting it into 2 units." He's like, "Okay. How much is that going to cost?" I was like, "Yeah, don't. Yeah, we got it covered. Like this is just how it works. This is the process. I've crunched my numbers. I know what I'm likely going to get for the rents, and what we're expecting the refi is going to be. At that point, the refi we thought was going to be close to like high 8s, maybe like low 9s. We
really?
thought, yeah.
We did the math to cover, if we see if
Yeah.
it's going to be covering the renovations.
Yeah.
And, knowing what we're seeing for refi numbers then, plus the purchase price, the renovations,
So, like, I went in knowing that I was probably going to leave quite a bit of money in the deal. And that was just what we knew was going to happen.
Yep.
Yeah. And then at some point we would refi, maybe 4 years down the road, 5 years down the road, maybe refi that out. But I knew that I was going to probably carry a fairly good balance. And I was using my HELOC for all of this too. So, anyways, yeah. So I really had to kind of just push forward, even though he was just waving the red flags everywhere. It's just like, "Are you sure you want to do this? And this is a lot of money, and you're using your HELOC, but I was very confident in it because I was like, no, like I've listened to enough podcasts, I've talked to a lot of people, like I have an investor focused realtor, this is what people do, and I'm going to also do it. So.
Oh my. Your financial advisor would not like me.
You're probably not. Yeah.
Because I've mentioned it on this podcast. Of our 17 listeners, none of them has taken me up on this challenge. If you're a financial advisor, I will gladly stack my client's performance against yours.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
And I tell people I'm not an expert, I'm not a financial advisor. I actually got offended once when someone called me a financial advisor.
It's horrible.
And they're not all bad.
Yeah.
Like my friend Kathleen's a financial advisor. She's an excellent financial advisor, but please don't compare me to someone at the bank.
Yeah, right.
Selling mutual funds.
Right, exactly.
Right.
And that's exactly what they do.
I actually make my clients a lot of money.
Yeah. Mine doesn't. He tries to not make me any money. Or just very stable, very safe.
Nothing wrong with that.
You retire when you're 65 and you make,
God.
whatever you make, kind of thing.
And it might be based on his own experiences.
Which is cool.
Right?
It is what happened. Yeah. So, yeah. But yeah, the refi process was a nightmare with my bank. Oh my gosh, it was horrible.
Why?
So we hear all these.
The regular process. We get an appraisal. What's the appraisal say?
Yes, I know, and it took them.
What's the third-party appraiser that you blindly picked? Like, not blindly, but the bank has approved appraisers.
Yes.
Right, that they trust.
Yes.
Right, they choose randomly which one.
Yes, exactly.
So they have nice controls in place, which I agree with.
And the process works, right? For them, from the bank's standpoint, the process works, and I get it. I work at a bank. I get processes. I get what needs to happen. I get
Keep
it.
us from financial collapse, like the Americans, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's very safe. It's very secure. Whatever. So, but I had. And the market has just exploded at this point, right? We were seeing, and I was refining, I think February, right? So like the numbers were just like ludicrous, right? And so every week I would chat with Tammy and be like, hey, like what are people getting at this point? What are things selling for? And we would just see these listings coming in like 1.2, like 1.1, where we're just like, and my expected refi was close to more like when we were doing this, back in November and December. Yeah, like high 8s, low 9s, cool. And then we're just seeing all these crazy numbers coming in. And we're like, and I just, I was like, holy moly, this can really work out for me, right? And so, of course, so I decided to put together a 5-page appraisal packet for my appraiser. So I put together this
beautiful. Prepared.
This whole Canva thing.
Can we see it? You did it on Canva too.
Yeah, I did it on Canva.
You're artsy. Nice.
Yeah. So I had a fun time with it. Like, I really enjoyed doing it. So I did a whole thing.
Can we see it?
Of course.
Did you put it on Instagram?
I put a video of it on Instagram.
Oh.
Yes, but
team has it.
Yeah,
I shared it. The team. Yeah, just not Urban, I guess. I'll share with Urban later.
Urban's not part of the team.
We'll look at it lunch.
Sorry. Yeah.
What's your Instagram? So just since we're mentioning.
Red Glasses REI.
Red Glasses REI. Okay, so continue.
Yep. And so, and then I put in. in the last page, I'd put in what my expected rents were going to be, and I had put in comparables in the neighborhood, and then I put what I expected the refi should be. I was like, this is what I want. So I put in 1.15 was my goal. And I know that it was audacious, and I know it was a bit crazy, but I'm like, I'm going to try. What's the worst that can happen? Mm-hmm. And then they came back at 9.25. And I was like, man, I was just so disappointed. And I'd waited. It took them forever to do it. Like, my bank, they just couldn't get their act together. The appraiser
didn't like you.
Didn't like me. They didn't want to listen to me. Like, I had emailed them this thing, and I was very nice to them, and I tried to give them everything they could possibly want. They had the place to themselves. There was no one there. Like, it was just empty property. Anyway, so I tried to make it as super simple as possible.
Yeah.
Whatever. And I get their processes too. Like, I get how it works. But yeah, 9.25, and I was just like, ooh. I'm like, no. Like, there's just no way it's 9.25. There's just no way. It's February at this point. Like, it's just like, what are you even comparing it to? Like, it would just be like an unrenovated single family home. Like, what? This is a legal duplex.
Right.
It's stunning.
And they do sometimes. They may have.
Yeah. Like, so just really disappointed. So then I'm like, nope, we're appealing this immediately.
Wrong person.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah. I need a new person.
Yeah.
And
just to
no,
make a
wrong
point.
person to mess with.
Oh, me. Yes. Yes.
Not,
I was like, no.
Yeah.
No, this is not happening. And I just wouldn't. There was just no way I was going to accept that. And I was then now talking to other financial institutions at this point. I was like, maybe I should talk to. And I was getting. And then I was starting to talk to other mortgage brokers. Of maybe I should talk to Scotia about this. Maybe I should talk to maybe I don't know, B lender, like, I need this refi. Like, there's no way I'm going to accept 9.25. So I was maybe a bit frantic.
I just want to make a point.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's still a human being that does that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's not
computer. And in my experience, I literally had someone from Mississauga come to Hamilton. Mm-mm. He knew everything, and he was talking to me about how to invest in Hamilton.
Oh my gosh.
And he was telling me that I forget what he didn't recognize that I had a zoning verification from the city to indicate my properties were legal. He said that's not good enough.
What?
I know, yeah. But he's from Mississauga. He knows everything. Of course he knows
everything, right?
So I think he appraised my duplexes at 600 in the sixes. Right. And that was just like a year ago.
Oh.
And ever since then, he's been taken off the list for the bank.
Yeah.
Because I'm no one. But the bank respects me, and they took him off their list. So it's really going to hurt that guy's business. Mm-hmm. That was really smart.
No,
it's his problem.
We had an appraiser too where he didn't know. He did ask for the zoning verification. He wanted that. Yeah. That's great. But his comps weren't against other duplexes. And the second he walked in the door, he said, "Oh, I hate these duplexes."
Oh,
like,
yeah, you're the right appraiser for us.
This is gonna go great.
Yeah,
came in low. Yeah,
I hate duplexes.
That's exactly what he said. I was like,
it's so easy to find them though, so it makes your search criteria easier.
That just sounded jealous to me, but yeah,
yeah, there's something there. That's for
so
sure.
Weird.
And it affected the number that came in.
Yeah.
So we did another one and came back.
Yeah.
But so you go on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same idea. And so I came in, and they're like, okay, yeah, 9.25. Are you good with that? And I was like, no. I'm like, did you not read my appraisal packet that I sent to you? Like, I'm not good with this. This is very low. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to accept it. Let's appeal it immediately. And they're like, okay. So I'm not entirely sure what happened behind the scenes, but it took. But apparently, the story that I got was that it was a junior appraiser at the company that had handled that first appraisal, and my appeal was heard. I resent the Canva document, and apparently it was handed to a more senior appraiser at the same company, and I got 1.134. So I mean,
wow, almost $1 million delta.
$1 million.
Almost $1 million delta between the appraisal prices.
200.
Sorry.
Yeah.
That's how good my math is.
I'm like, your wife is a.
Yeah, that's why she does that.
Yeah. Let me do the math quickly here.
Also, I've seen another appraisal.
209,000. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's a lot of money.
Yep.
I've seen another appraisal. One of my clients had a property in the Maritimes, and the appraiser actually used an oceanfront property to compare against an interior property.
Mm-hmm. Great.
Like, And then so her appraisal was completely overinflated and she overpaid for it. So yeah.
Wow.
Trust no one.
Trust no one.
Trust, verify.
Do your own homework.
Verify. Please at least verify.
Surround yourself with people that
And
know
then-
what they're doing.
Here's part of the challenge though, is that even though we pay for the appraisal, we don't often see the comparables used.
Yeah.
So this was only
Right.
found out because there was a lawsuit.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I don't know what they used, but hopefully they used. I mean, they clearly used something more comparable than the
Right.
first guy used. So,
Well, if they're junior, then
Yeah.
they probably use the wrong comparables. They probably just use a regular single family home.
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They must have made a lot of mistakes. So
But even those were selling single family homes with 2 kitchens.
Yeah.
Still
I know.
So
selling.
it comes comparable to a
it makes no
duplex.
sense. It makes no sense at all.
Didn't know what
I
he's
don't
doing.
know what the guy was doing.
because February we were seeing stuff for like 1.3.
Yeah, we're seeing 1.1, 1.2, 1.3 for legal duplexes.
Right. For actual transactions, we're not going to see that for appraisals.
Yeah.
Yes, sorry.
Yeah. Exactly. So, anyways.
But we were
I was very
hearing of
happy.
other people coming in around that $1 million mark on an appraisal.
Yeah.
So when you just came back at that, it was like, there's no way. Did you not see the feature wall?
I know. Did you look at the property? What exactly?
Do you know what a vaulted ceiling is?
Ah, yeah. Had an engineer do this. Yeah.
So then, how much of your money were you able to take out?
So I think I have about 85,000 left in the property. So I think I calculated I pulled out 80% of my capital. I think that's what my spreadsheet told me. Yep.
And then, what are your projected rents?
For Airbnb.
What was it on the Canva? Was it an honest
Oh,
projection?
what did I put? Yeah, what did I put in my Canva? That's a good question. I think I had. That's a good question, actually. I can't remember
It
what
was
I put
probably
in.
a little higher.
Yeah, it's probably like I probably put in like 2,400 plus utilities for
Yeah.
the upper unit, and I probably put in like 1,900 probably for the lower unit. I think that's what I put. Yeah.
Maybe you put 2,000. You were trying for 2,000 on Kijiji or wherever.
Yeah.
Probably there.
Oh, and then who's insuring your Airbnb? Because we don't have many clients doing this where it's a split.
It's just so I told them that I was doing an Airbnb. I told them like the strategy for both. I'm doing the long term in the basement and then an Airbnb in the upper unit. And my insurance was actually the same. Like it wasn't that different at all. So Desjardins is my insurance company. I have a great contact. I've sent many people to her. She's great. So yeah, they didn't seem to have any issues with it. I don't know. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So what is market rent then? What would I know? Let's
For the upper unit?
sure. Let's try that.
I don't know. I never tried. So 22?
I'd say yeah. Yep.
22 up.
Yep.
If it was a regular rental.
So we're pretty much running our numbers right now at 22 up. We have started to see higher than that, and 18 down for sure.
Right, but you got
Starting to
1850.
see- Yeah, we're starting to see a little bit higher on that too. So
Mm-hmm.
So you're
Minimum
getting over
4.
4K rent.
yeah.
And then what do you think you're gonna get for the upstairs as
Now?
as a midterm? Yeah.
It's so now we're converting it into an actual short term. It's no longer midterm anymore.
Oh yeah.
So because
You're a full short term.
I've hired this property management company. Yeah, I think we'll still maybe accept long term, like more midterm, but they have to pay the price.
It's just harder
Right.
for them to book because then they have to navigate all the weekends and the holidays.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, and we want to make sure that we're strategically pricing those weekends, especially those long weekends, and that's what's key.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, we're looking like we should be closer to $200 a night at this point. So.
Does your
Yeah.
lower tenant know what you're doing upstairs?
Yes.
Is there any issues with that?
So this is the other thing. This is so funny. It was actually the reverse what I was worried about, to be honest. I was worried about my Airbnb not being happy with my lower unit.
Oh.
Because the lower unit has 2 dogs.
Oh.
Exactly. And when they first moved in, the dogs were unsettled, as we say. So quite noisy. And it's an older home. There's HVAC. It was just like the dogs were sitting beside you when you were sitting in the upper unit. It was that loud. And so that's what I was really worried about. I'm like, if I'm running this short term upstairs, these people are paying a lot of money, per night, and they're going to be listening to these
They're getting a deal. Come on.
dogs. I was quite stressed. So we've dealt with that. The lower unit tenants do understand that there might be an issue there, but apparently it's because the dogs just moved into a brand new home. They were alone during those couple times that I was there, and they were unhappy. So, but they're working on it, and I think the dogs are happier now, and more settled. So
any tips? Because I have this situation in one of my properties.
yeah. So the only thing I heard is that they were trying CBD oil with the dogs for anxiety. Dog version of that.
Okay.
I don't know.
We're not vets, folks. We're not recommending nothing.
That's what I was told. So I don't know if that's working, but that is what I was told was happening there. So yeah.
And why are you doing all this?
Real estate, you mean?
Sure, anything. You got yourself a promotion as well. Like, I'm sure all these things kind of tie together.
Yeah, I know. It's funny.
She likes working with me.
I do like, yeah. I talk to Tammy more than I talk to my own mom. So, you know.
Oh, another person to call you mom. Great.
Oh boy.
I want to be work optional. I think. Yeah. I think that's what I want. I want more control over my life.
All right.
So veteran.
You have a fair amount too, because before we were recording, we were talking about working from home. Pre-pandemic, how much were you allowed to work from home?
Maybe once a week, and that had to be approved.
So then, in reality, how often did you actually work from home then? Because you have 2 kids, like.
I was working from. I got the one day approved before pandemic. So.
Okay. So like flat approval every week, I can work from home one day.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
And then now.
Now the question's like, I have to get approved to even go into the office now. Actually, which is very strange.
Wait, that's weird.
Yeah. There's timing. I don't know. It's a long story. There's a lot of red tape. But June is when they expect us to go. Well, I shouldn't say that. They invite us to go back starting June, and they would like to see us twice a week.
Wording.
Yeah.
Because I remember Tim Ferriss actually wrote about that in 4-Hour Workweek, was to try to negotiate working from home, so that you could have more time to, so you don't have to commute, you have other things, so you can actually have time to focus on whatever it is you're interested in.
Yeah.
And Rui, one of our longtime clients, what made him successful was because he was mobile IT, and most of his work didn't start till after 5 p.m. because you just wait for the employees to be gone so they can mess with their IT.
Yeah.
So he was always free during the day to go look at properties with us.
Oh, cool.
So he was always there first thing, right? He had that advantage over everyone else who had a 9 to 5. He was there first when a property was listed, and we get properties.
Oh, wow.
Right? Because we were the first offer, and then back then, like the old rule of thumb was first offer is your best offer. Here's your first offer.
Jeez, wow.
We're here, and then we got so many properties that way.
Cool.
And I remember one agent said on the following Monday, she said, I wish I didn't take your offer. I had so many showings on the weekend.
No.
I had so many people trying to book showings this weekend.
Yeah.
When they stopped holding offers, we're like vultures.
Vultures. That's how I got the St. Catharines property. Yeah, got it.
So, but my point is that, again, there's always been all this rhetoric out there, like be your own boss,
Yeah.
But now you have all this flexibility now.
Yeah, I certainly do have flexibility.
Like historic levels of flexibility.
100%. And
only invited back to the office.
Invited back, exactly. But yeah, it's one of those things. It's like, I don't want to fail at everything, kind of thing. Like I do have to bucket my time properly. For me to do a good job at work, I have to be mentally there. I can't be on the phone. I can't be looking at properties. Like I'll try to really compartmentalize my time and structure my time where I'm, at lunch I try to go to the gym now. Maybe I'll take 1 or 2 calls, very quick calls for contractors or talk to Tammy or whatever. But for me to do what I feel I need to do at work, I really have to be mentally at work. Regardless of where my physical body is, like I have to, whether it's I'm at home or I'm at the work, like I have to mentally be there. So yes, I have flexibility, but I still have to have rules for myself.
Got it.
I guess.
Got it.
Yeah.
I did a little bit differently because we had core hours at work. Like you're supposed to be in the office 10 to 3. So, and then if I didn't have a meeting or something like that, I would do real estate stuff, but I'd track my time and then I'd make up that time later in the day or during that week.
Yeah.
Right? To me, again, morally and ethically, you're paying for my time. I'm here.
Yeah. Right.
Right. I will use your fax machine.
Yeah.
And print some stuff on your printer.
I had to buy a printer during the pandemic, sadly, so that was my real adult moment.
Work didn't pay for it?
No, we're not allowed to print anything at home. from work.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a pain in the butt, though.
It's a huge pain.
I like
so
reading
everything,
documents.
No,
like
God,
this,
our paper
old school.
bill is almost non-existent now at work, because no one prints anything, which is great. Actually, it's great for the trees, great for everything. So
Tough on the eyes. Tell us about the other investment properties. I know we're close to running out of time. We're already out of time already.
chatting. Yeah. Okay, so the second property that we bought after that, the big one, was another duplex, right? That was the next one? Was that the third
Conversion?
one?
Nope.
The
No, you're
second
right.
one?
Yep.
Yeah, so we did we bought another conversion single family home on Hamilton Mountain, and
Same street, actually. That's the way last
same street. It's
one's East Mountain, one's West Mountain. Same
so
street.
Second Mohawk project, yeah. So, and
So it's like 2-minute drive to each other?
well, you
No,
got to take the
it's
link.
one
actually.
end, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But it's just funny that
Yeah.
we got to keep her property straight since we're on the same street.
Yeah, we're like, which Mohawk is this? Oh yeah, that's the other one. It's the west one, east one. Yeah. It's a tough problem to have, but that one I
Top
actually
1% problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Not
So-
first world problem.
No, it's top. Yeah,
1%
you're right. Yeah,
problems.
it's not first world,
Thank-
exactly.
Yeah, let's be specific.
But that one I actually got my parents to buy. So I'm the active partner. So we're kind of doing a JV, although we haven't signed any JV papers yet because I have to figure that out. But I got them in the game, and I'm very happy that we did. So they're the money partners, and they're 100%. They 100% mortgage, 100% reno, 100% everything, and I have just managed the entire thing.
Right.
So another conversion project, but this one was just sitting on the market. It was sitting there for like 20 days, 25 days.
Well, that's an eternity.
I know, especially for a very beautiful home, huge lot, 50 by 150.
Actually, you know why it was sitting?
Yeah.
Because they had the bedrooms, the way they had it all set up, were all in the basement. So I think that was part of why.
Ah.
Yeah, so when you went in, there was the living room and a dining room and a
Yeah.
kitchen and a bathroom and an office.
Yeah.
It could have been a bedroom, okay? But let's, and that they had
Yeah.
it as
Wait,
an
they
office.
didn't stage it properly?
No. No. an
What were they
office.
thinking?
Because they had renovated it
It was-
that way.
they lived like that.
They
too.
lived like
remember,
that.
Remember we thought.
I don't care how you live.
We thought
Renovated-
it was staged. It was so nice, but that's how she lived.
That's how she lived.
Renovated for maximum sell price.
Yeah, all four
That's what
bedrooms
happened.
in the basement. So 4 bedrooms in the basement and bathroom. And we think that maybe people couldn't wrap their head around for some reason.
Yeah. So the end
I wrapped
user.
my head around that easily. I would have
I
bought
know.
that all day.
So do we.
That's what we did. So
Yeah.
so a non-investor looked at that and we're just like, ooh, that's weird, But
I actually know some investors that looked at it.
yeah, that's true.
I
I,
don't
think
know why.
Chris did, didn't he? That you? Oh yeah. No, edit that out. And yeah, so some people looked at it, and we looked at it, and we're like, cool. It's a beautiful, beautiful home. I mean, it was like turnkey. It's stunning, right? Giant
Yeah.
property, garden suite potential. We're putting in a 1-inch water line actually, just for future garden suite.
I drool over a turnkey.
Yeah.
You know what's funny with this one? And we didn't know at the time, but when they were ready to start the renovation, we found out that the basement ceiling was all fire rated drywall. We're like, what?
What?
Yes.
It was like a.
Exactly.
Why'd they do that?
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
It costs more money.
We didn't know. And, yeah.
It's very weird. It was insulated too, so
Insulated.
fire rated drywall and insulated.
A little extra
And-
savings.
Wait. They didn't even tell you that when they were selling the house?
No,
No,
'cause
I don't know if they knew.
They didn't think that was
They-
important. Probably.
Maybe it was done before
Oh my
then too.
god,
Yeah.
what terrible marketers.
Yeah, it was not good. Yeah, so we pounced on that one. So we paid $784 for that one.
That's a steal.
Yep. And so it's going to be two up.
That was yeah. We brought it down in price a bit for
Yeah,
sure.
we did.
And
Yeah, we
'cause
did.
that you have to imagine that's when the prices were starting to go up.
Sorry,
We bought that in November, I think. Didn't we?
were you the only offer? It's 20 days on market?
At that point, yeah.
Yeah, only. Yeah,
This is, what month was this?
it's November.
Remember? Yeah.
November. Yeah.
And there's no other offers?
No.
Weird.
Yep. So.
I thought people can't find deals on the
Oh
market.
yeah, yeah. Some people can't. So that's another conversion. We're almost done that one. We had a couple delays. Can I say?
Yeah.
Electra. Yeah, Electra has kind of pushed us out a bit, and then we're trying to get. The city has caused a bit of delay because we're trying to get the 1-inch water service, because we want to do a garden suite in the future. So that has caused a bit of a delay as well. And then the egress window. Hopefully, I think
delays.
that was supposed to be in this week. So
Yeah.
hopefully that I have to check in with
Supply chain issues?
My dude.
Labor issues? All of the above?
all of the above, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a few delays with that one, but we're arbitraging that one. So that's the kind of cool thing with this. So my same Airbnb company that I'm using for my Mohawk to manage my Airbnb, we're going to rent these 2 units out to them at markish rents, and then they're going to put Airbnbs in both of the units.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So it's pretty neat.
So they're gonna pay you market rent.
Yes.
For the duplex.
Yes.
For individual units.
Yes.
And they're gonna rent them out.
Correct. Yeah.
And they're gonna cover the maintenance.
Correct. Everything. They cover snow, grass. There's no property management fee. There's no tenant placement fee. They pay all utilities.
Keep me posted how this goes.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Interesting.
It's really cool. It's a cool model. Yeah. So my parents love the idea of it. They're like, ooh, this sounds great. And the place gets cleaned all the time, right? Which is really cool. So
The third one sounds boring now.
I know.
The third one.
It does sound boring. Yeah, my St. Catharines one. That one was a cool story.
Actually,
though.
it was a very interesting story.
Yeah, it's a cool story. So
We'll tell it quick, but
yeah, super
there's-
quick. Yeah. So super quick. Had been on the market on and off for a little while. The upper unit. So it's St. Catharines. It's a legal duplex in St. Catharines. It was owner tenant occupied. So the tenant, we found out, was in jail, and
Like currently at that moment when we were looking at the house.
yeah, currently in
Sorry,
jail.
did you see the owner or the tenant?
So the tenant.
Tenant.
Tenant
Okay,
was in
okay.
jail. He had signed an N11 though, and so the owner was like, "Hey, great time to sell." And I think there might have been a split/divorce. I think also happening, just from some things that I gathered. So great
She's
opportunity.
CSI, so-
CSI. Yeah, I did some investigating. And anyway, so that scared some people off, that this whole jail concept, right? You know, who knows?
In case he comes back.
Yeah, in case he comes back, he doesn't move out. You know, because so we had bought it also in November. Can't remember.
Yeah, it was very close. Yep.
Yeah. So his N11 said his move out date was December 31st. That's when he was supposed to. That's when his tenancy was supposed to.
Oh, God.
End. And so
Was this a serious criminal or?
I looked him up also, and I think it was, I shouldn't say just a DOI, but it was a DOI.
That's it.
Well, I think it was a multiple offense situation. So
This isn't like a violent criminal or something.
well, exactly. But I had to Google that, and
I know it's a terrible thing.
it's a terrible thing, but that's
But
what it was.
these aren't malicious people. They're just
And the property,
careless.
exactly, and the property wasn't involved, which is what my main concern was.
Right.
You know, if there was some kind of crime on the property, you know, that's a different story. I don't know. I was just nervous.
Running into the house with DUI.
Well, yeah, but I didn't know what it was DOI until that point. But you know, when I found out it was DOI, I was like, okay, this guy's.
Right.
He made some poor choices, obviously, but you know, he signed it an N11. It was cool. We're good. I think there's no issue here. So we bought it with a condition. I wanted to do an inspection too. So so we offered about $5,000 over asking. I put in the condition. I think I put a financing clause
You had
too.
I
conditions?
think we put conditions in on this
Yeah,
one. Yep.
I think we had all conditions. We had financing.
You were the only offer.
There was someone coming in, but they were scared away by the jail thing. So
Should have left like bloody gloves around the property or something.
the property was in rough shape too. I'll say that too.
Yeah.
So you know, it needed a lot of work. Anyways, so we had the inspector in. Inspector found a few things that weren't super duper.
And then during that conditional period, you were talking a lot with the paralegal.
Yes, I was talking to paralegal.
Because
Yeah.
that was our opportunity to do some extra
Yeah.
homework.
Exactly. And I just wanted to
But
double
have it
check,
locked
like,
in, yeah.
what do I need to do here? Do we need to file the N11? You know, and what we actually found, with the N11 was done incorrectly.
Yes.
So we had a wrong N11. They put the wrong unit number on the N11, which I'm like, how is that even possible? But they did.
The owner did it?
Yes. And maybe the paralegal they used, I don't know what happened. Anyway, so we identified that during due diligence. We're like, you know, we can't accept this. Obviously, we don't have a valid N11. So they went back to the jail and got a new N11 with the right unit number, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And
Then we changed our when we
Yes.
were going to firm up and remove our conditions, got a price reduction and decided we wanted it just vacant.
vacant.
So we locked it in originally that we were going to take the tenant that was never going to actually be there because they were going to be out of jail and have moved out. But we were taking that on.
Yeah, because they originally wanted like a November close or a December close, and this was, and then so I'm like, okay, I can probably deal with that. If I want, because I wanted the deal, right? I'm like, yeah, I can probably take that on. I mean, he's in jail. We have an N11. He's probably not going to be a problem. But then because we had the N11 issue that we found, and we had some of the issues that came up on the inspection, we're like, no, and we're in a power position at this point because they had accepted our offer, and I was like, no, we shaved off $15,000 off our price that we had offered, and we pushed out the offer, the closing date to June 6th, which was when he was supposed to be.
We were
gone.
worried that they were going to come back and say maybe he signed that under
Duress
when he was in jail too, so we didn't want to have any issues. So yeah, so we got it.
Oh, wait, you have it tied up. You haven't closed yet?
No, closed. It closed
in
June. Sorry,
January.
did I say June? Sorry,
Yeah,
Jan
sorry.
6th. Sorry,
Got it.
Jan 6th. Sorry, yeah.
Because I was like, they accepted that?
What?
Their agent sucks.
No, sorry. Jan 6th. Yeah, Jan 6th. Anyway, so we were just in a position of power there, and clearly this owner wanted out of this property.
Yeah.
So he accepted
490.
Yeah, so he accepted at 490.
That's it?
Yeah, with a legal duplex in St. Catharines, which is
It'd work.
We made it work, and
How do you want one of these? $490.
and so we're actually just basically gutting it at this point. I probably spent a bit more than I should have, maybe in the renovations, to be honest. Now that I kind of think about it, I think we probably should have kept some of it, but
The stuff I said to keep.
the stuff you said to keep, so I should have listened to Tammy. And so I am likely going to flip it, I think, at this point. I think. So we are
Little
looking.
selfish plug.
Selfish-
We're gonna
Yeah,
have a listing on.
yeah. So we're going to,
It's gonna be beautiful.
yeah,
Also,
it's going to be amazing.
legal duplex in St. Catharines with newly renovated.
And
Yeah.
no convict tenants.
Yeah. No. And yeah. And we did,
Vacant.
all new plumbing, all new electrical. Like the thing is like, I mean, it's just awesome. It's a really good unit, good property. So we're going to be probably doing that maybe exclusively, maybe. We'll think about it. See what the best strategy is for that one.
Yeah, so only friends of ours will have to look at this deal.
Maybe these podcast listeners.
Yeah, if you want it, it's going to come in about a month or so. Well,
Yeah.
it depends when this airs, but yeah.
Nobody listens to this.
Nobody
anyways.
listens. I might listen to my. Actually, no, I won't listen to this. No way.
So Emily, you jumped in with 2 feet,
Yeah.
a couple $1 million worth of properties, massive renovations.
Yeah.
That's not easy for many people. I have trouble convincing lots of people to invest in anything, like anything. Even like investing $25,000 into into a passive land development deal. Like you've been pouring in
Can I add something?
lots of money for renovations.
When I
Yeah.
first had our first conversation, she had reached out to Mike Ferreira. You said, I see Tammy on your Instagram. What's it like working with her? So she called me. And she was actually...
Wait, did you know Mike at the time?
No, I just on Instagram. I don't know how I found him, but I just found him through the network, I think.
He
Yeah.
squeezes his way in
He's
everywhere.
everywhere.
And you had called me, and we had the best conversation. I loved talking to you. She was so driven, so focused, so ready. Your energy, she's like, I've been pre-approved. I went to this broker. I'm all ready to go on this. Super excited to go out. But she was currently out looking and talking with another realtor previously.
Oh,
So we had to cut our ties in a sense. And I said, that's good for you to explore that and so on. And went out. And then when you ended up, you actually didn't call me at first. You ended up just breaking those ties, went through all the right channels, and then called and said, okay, that's completely done, so we can move forward. And I remember when I found out you were, because I was so disappointed, because I'm like, you're exactly who I want. Your energy just made me so excited. You were ready and focused right from the beginning, and you have not stopped since. Continuously been like that. So super excited to work with people like you too. Yeah.
what happened with your other realtor? That's so sad for them. Your homewrecker, Tammy.
They were also investor focused, but not the focus I needed.
Right. Everyone's investor focused these days.
Yeah.
When I started in 2010, there was no one investor focused.
But some people just connect, and because I'm not, maybe won't connect with everybody either, and it just is
Whatever,
what it is,
Duplex Queen.
But it was you've so when you were talking about how she is,
Right.
that's how I knew you right from the very beginning.
Connections are nice and all, but I'm a pragmatic person. I want
Right.
talent on my team.
Yeah. Right.
Like you work in HR. I know you don't work in HR, but
Yeah.
you find I'm looking for talented people on my team.
Yeah.
I don't care if we don't jive on religion or something or politics. Like I care less.
Yeah.
If you're talented and you can help me make money, we're best friends.
Yeah. Well, people are your biggest asset. For an employer, your people will run your business. If you don't have the right people, your business is going to suffer.
That's a good place to end it. My stomach's growling. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I
Well,
don't
we
know
have
if the mic picked it
showings.
up.
We have to go look at some more
Lunchtime.
houses.
Yeah.
Oh,
Actually.
you're the client that's
We're
going to
going to
showings.
Welland.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
So
Yep. We have how many properties? 5?
yeah, I'm gonna go check out some Welland properties.
Yeah.
What are the chances? Any good ones? All dumpers?
There's one interesting one.
There's 5 to see?
I hope they're bad. We'll get them.
These days are different. I can't believe there's 5 properties to
so
see.
Pretty excited. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so different because, actually, I should give some context. Today is April 29th.
Yeah.
And, 3 months ago, were there 5 properties to see?
No.
Yeah.
The beginning of this
True.
year,
Yeah.
there were, I think, 4 to choose from in one of my searches.
Oh my God.
And 2 of them, when I'm looking at them for duplex conversions, and 2 of them wouldn't work.
Yeah.
I'm like,
right.
well, these 2 are, yeah. So there was 2.
Wow.
There's 5 properties available that could be duplex conversions?
There was 4 at the time, and 2 of them weren't good.
Right. No, I mean,
They
like
didn't
now.
have ceiling heights.
Like you have 5
now?
properties to
No,
look at today.
now,
actually,
yeah,
I've
there's-
changed my strategy, I think, a little. I'm not looking for duplex conversions anymore. I need more units to make money.
Look at multis now.
I'm looking at multis.
How big? 3, 6,
3, 4.
12?
Eventually
Yeah.
we'll get to the higher ones. But at this point, I want to try to test out the 3 and the 4 if we can. Yeah.
Fabulous. Okay, I won't keep you from it.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Just
Emily.
look.
Thank you, Tammy.
Thanks.
for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for listening. If you want to learn how to invest in real estate from scratch, my team teaches beginners how to use the #1 investment strategy in a virtual free training class every month. Go to investortraining.ca/podcast to register for our next class. I publish an episode here every week, so subscribe if you want to keep learning from seasoned investors like myself and my guests. Again, if you're ready to learn the nitty-gritty about real estate investing, register for our next free virtual training class at investortraining.ca/podcast. Again, thanks for listening to the show. Talk to you next week.